And I know that it's not over. I know that I used to listen to that song every night. It would put me to sleep. I put my, well, let me go first to this other one before I go there. How many people open up Facebook this morning or this week? How many people open up Facebook? What did you find in 1 John 3:16 or John 3:16? Now, did you find that in Facebook? Now, remember, Reverend Eloy said, this is our new Facebook. When you have your face in this book, you're reading or looking at Facebook. So did anybody look in Facebook? Sister Cherie said, keep reading, interceding, keep living, keep giving, because it ain't over until God says it's over. As I was saying, when I came out of the hospital in August, early August, I would play that song. And what that would do for me is to relieve my anxiety and stress. Somebody probably saying, you a pastor, you have anxiety, you have stress? That's not normal. Well, you never been there. If you ever experience a heart attack or a stroke, that's not normal, because you're laid up, incapacitated. And so I was going through a whole lot of stuff in my mind. I couldn't go to sleep at night. My heart was palpitating. I could lay in bed and I would tell my wife, don't go to sleep. Stay up with me. Because I was afraid to go to sleep. It's easy to say, oh, he's a pastor, he should be a whole lot stronger than that. That's the human side of me, who was experiencing a stroke. I wanted to live. And I was afraid because the doctors had said to me that most strokes come when you are sleeping early in the morning. So I didn't want to go to sleep. And I would put this song on and I would let it sing to me all night long. And when I woke up, it would wake me up to let me know that it's not over. It gave me assurance that if God said it, that fixes it. Don't have nothing to worry about. Come here, Job. Job is a man who had everything. He was the richest man at the time on earth. Came out of a land called Uz. He was the boss in the town. And in your reading, you heard that Job's servants came, one of his servants came and said, well, before we go there, there was a dialogue. Now, you got to understand, the devil had dialogue with God. Sometimes you got to understand, the devil probably talked to God more than y'all do. That's strange. The devil talks to God probably more than a lot of us in this room. And the devil said, can I touch this man? He said, I know you won't let me because you got a hedge around him. Don't you see? Think about that. God got a hedge around his children. And I know you're not going to let me touch him. God said, okay. Touch everything he got. But you can't kill him. You don't have the power to kill. So that tells me the devil can't kill me, can't hurt you. God has all the power. And so there was a messenger who came to Job and said, all your cattle has died or been killed. And while he was still there, another messenger came and said, all your camels have been killed. Another messenger came and so forth and so on and told him that all 7 of his children had been killed. What a calamity. This man who had everything, his wife could go shopping anytime she wanted to, honey. And now, everything he had was gone. And you know how your friends are, those who really don't know the Lord. And all of us got friends that don't know Jesus. Sanballat, Bildad, not Sanballat, but Bildad the Shuhite said, man, I can't believe you still worshiping that God who took everything you had. And his wife had a nerve to point her finger in his face. Say, Job, you ought to curse God and die. But God whispered in Job's ear and said, Job, it ain't over until I said it's over. Job, when we read over in the book of James, it says, consider the end of Job. Everything Job had lost, God doubled it. Read it in the chapter. He lost camels, they were double. He lost oxen, they were double. He got 7, he didn't double the children, he got 7 children back. All because God said to him, it ain't over. You got Daniel and Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego. Daniel was thrown in a lion's den because he refused to bow down to the worldly gods. Many of us bow down, we give in, we submit. And so they took Daniel and they threw him in a lion's den. And God said, don't worry, Job. Don't worry, Daniel, I'll tame the lions for you. I'll let you lay on his mane so you're able to get some rest tonight. Don't worry about nothing because it ain't over. Then those 3 Hebrew brothers, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who refused as well to bow down. King Nebuchadnezzar said, we're going to fix these boys. They think they're bad. And we're going to throw them into the fiery furnace. And he got his men to grab them and throw them in. And as they were thrown in, those who threw them in were consumed because the king had made it 10 times hotter than it normally is. Then, while they were in there was a 4th person in there who walking with them and said, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, don't worry. It ain't over. I'll deliver you out of this fire. Because if I'm with you, I'm more than the whole world against you. Come here, David. David was Jesse's son, the youngest. He was not chosen by man, but by God. King Saul needed somebody to help him because Goliath was running rampant over the kingdom. And this little scrawny boy, about 16 or 17 years old, came in and King Saul said, here you go, put on all of this armor. He said, oh no, King, that stuff is going to weigh me down. All I need is my slingshot. See, I've done some bad things with this slingshot. I've killed a bear. I killed a lion. And who is this swine that's going to stand before me and my God? Just let me at him. I could imagine all the soldiers looked at David and said, this guy ain't nothing but a fool. Here is Goliath standing 9 feet tall, and he's going to go fight him with a slingshot. Don't you know this Facebook that we have is our slingshot? Everything you need is in this book. It'll help you live. It'll help you treat your neighbor right. It'll help you with your wife and your children and your husbands. It's in here. This is the Facebook. But the world has trapped our minds. We prefer foolishness. But David went on down to face this giant of a man. And I think he said to him, you send dogs calling David a dog. Now, I don't mind being called a dog as long as you call me a big dog. You know, call me a pit bull. I don't have no problem with that, because if you call me that, I'm going to bite you. Don't call me no chihuahua. All they like to do is nibble at your heels. Call me a big dog. Say, Pastor, he's a dog. Yeah, I'm a big dog. And I'm a bad dog, because the Lord is on my side. And he'll handle it. He'll deal with it. So David took his slingshot. Now, strangely, all he needed was one sling, one shot. But he picked up, I think, a total of 9 smooth stones. And he winded. He was winding. See, he was winding it up. And the king, he was standing over there saying, Goliath was probably saying, look at this little narrow-head boy. He think he's going to hurt me with a stone. And all of a sudden, I mean, David probably didn't weigh no more about 120 pounds or 130. He's a little youngster. He's young. He's skinny like me. And he wound it up, and he hit him right in the temple and enlarged. And Goliath fell. And David went and took Goliath's sword and cut off his head. See, you have the power through Jesus Christ. Now, I'm not telling you to get no sword and cut nobody's head off. That's not what I'm saying. Let Jesus do your battling. And took the head of Goliath and stuck it on a sword. This little boy, because God had told him it's not over for the kingdom of Israel.